Maritime Made on Eastlink is presented by Nova Scotia Business Inc., working with companies across Nova Scotia to be more successful exporters every step of the way.
The Annapolis Cider Company in Wolfville, Nova Scotia is all about supporting its community while making premium cider products.
The company is number one focus is being a good community member and just providing, good employment and bringing business into our region and providing outlets for tourists to, come and enjoy this area and the products that we can make. So that's definitely the number one philosophy, and just, giving back to our community when we can, and making premium products that's number one. Got started with just 3 products, and they've slowly grown since then. We're now at like 11 SKUs, plus a regularly rotating product. And the company's just continued to grow ever since then.
One of their 11 regular ciders is called Crisp and Dry. Today, the juice for the batch is being sourced from Sterling Fruit Farms. A bin of apples gets tipped onto the packing line. The under-the-water conveyor is a grid that selects A-grade apples to continue on for packing and separates the smaller B-grade apples for juice pressing. Approximately 2,000 McIntosh B-grade apples are released onto the conveyor belt of the juicing line. Each variety used is recorded in a binder. Bad apples are removed. Then the remainder are washed again before being lifted to the pulp mill. Unground rice hulls are also lifted to the mill, and they get ground together into a pulp. This gets poured into the sleeves of the juice press. These are made like sacks of cloth, so when they're pressed together, the juice pours out into a catch basin underneath. A paddle is used to pack everything down. The remaining pumice will be picked up by farmers for cattle feed. The juice then gets pumped into huge holding tanks. This whole process takes 15 to 20 minutes. The juice is then pumped into a tanker truck or a 1,000-liter tote for transporting back to the Annapolis Cider Company, where the juice will be transferred into a 10,000-liter fermentation tank. Its temperature is set to 12 degrees.
We work with lots of local fruit growers. We work a lot, mostly with Sterling's Fruit Farms just down the road. And we also work with, producers that are all the way down to the South Shore and up in Cape Breton, so all across the province. And we also are one of the only cideries that has production right here in our facility. So we have our retail space upstairs and tasting bar, and all the production, minus the pressing of apples, is done right here in the cellar. So that's kind of a unique part about us. We're right on Main Street, Wolfville, and we do all this production just in this little space.
With the juice prepared, a hydrometer test is done. It measures the specific gravity or sugar concentration. It's done before, during, and when fermentation is complete. Yeast is measured and then mixed with warm 37-degree water. The warm temperatures help activate the yeast. Slowly, a bit of juice is added. After acclimating for 20 to 30 minutes, the whole thing is added to the tank. Anything added to the tank is done so through a gravity-fed impeller pump. The process is called a pump-over. Nutrients are mixed with warm water and are blended to help the nutrients dissolve. Tannin is added on the second day to help bring out full flavors. The entire fermentation takes 4 to 6 weeks until the juice is bone dry, which means all of the sugar has been consumed and converted to alcohol. This 9.2% alcohol is used as a base cider. The Annapolis Cider Company then adds fresh juice to sweeten the cider and create the best flavor. The total acidity needs to be checked. Drops of base concentration are added until it changes color. Racking happens before blending, which is done in one of the 5,000-liter tanks. To make the crisp and dry cider recipe, the base cider is added to the fresh juice. It will be 15 to 20% apple juice. Both are pumped from where they've been held into a new tank. Now that the cider is hitting all of the correct specifications, it's ready for filtration. The blended batch is attached to the cross-flow filter. A CO2 line pressurizes the cider to flow out of it faster. The final cider is filtered to the bright tank, separated from any remaining sludge. A CO2 carbonation stone is inserted in the bright tank. Here, pressurized CO2 is forced through its fine pores and is released into the liquid. Now, it's time for bottling. There are 3,300 bottles in a typical batch, and staff try to bottle 1,000 an hour. The bottles are first rinsed. Next, a label is rolled onto the bottle's surface. Then, bottles are filled by a German 12-head counterpressure filter from the 1960s. Each bottle gets pushed upwards to create a pressurized seal before being filled. Then it's time for the cap. A shot of CO2 fills the headspace, and then a Stelton cap is dropped on and rotated to create an airtight seal. Finished bottles are stored for sale in the retail space or sent to the Annapolis Cider Company warehouse for export.
We're starting to make new plans for the future growth of the company, and a lot of that hinges on new product packaging formats and new areas that we're going to start to focus on. And that started with putting our first product in cans, and we're hoping to continue canning additional products as we move forward. So our crisp and dry product would be our next move into cans and kind of complete our duo of products in cans together. And that's sort of our flagship offering. We're in the NSLC and we're sold out of our store here, but we also have an online store that sells across Canada. So our product can be bought anywhere online, and we're just starting to look into shipment into the States as well. So that would be a totally new avenue for us. But yeah, so far we're available everywhere in Canada.